Okay, so this is part 5 of Paititi Explained. In this part, I'm basically just going to go through the highlights and mostly just show you some photos. Now, these are all just screenshots from satellite imagery. They're not enhanced in any way. I might just zoom in every now and then for a closer look. Some of the pictures are blurry, as you can imagine. Satellite imagery is taken from thousands of kilometres away. So they're about the best I can do at this stage. Technology is gradually increasing, and ever since I started starting with Google Earth, it's come a long way since then. Who knows, in the next 5 or 10 years, all these images might be very, very clear for everybody to see. So, as you can see here on the screen, this is the iconic photo, and I'll go to the next shot, which is a zoomed in version. As you can see, there's a father or Jesuit sitting on the left hand side. He's obviously wearing black with his white neck there and a collar that they wear, holding the hands of an Inca who's on their knees, obviously, or one knee, I should say. It appears the right knee's on the ground and the left leg is obviously bent at 90 degrees on the left hand side, holding the hands of the Jesuit. Inca's wearing some type of little headdress or cap. They're sitting in some type of boat, I'd assume, either a raft or a canoe. That probably would have been on the lake when they were performing the baptism. And I assume this would be the lake that they actually performed this on. This is the largest lake on the site. Okay, I assumed it would have been used for water supply, washing, cleaning, performing baptisms, etc. As you can see right down the southern side of the lake, we have this little inlet from this stream running down. Is that silt, or is that like a stone wharf? I'm not sure. Okay, but it requires further investigation. Now this just gives you a scale of the kingdom of Paititi. So running north to south, there it is. It's roughly about 12 kilometres long, so quite large. And as you can see, this is very similar to this map here that I've showed you in previous parts. Okay, so looking at this actual Andres Lopez map of Paititi, it's roughly 12 kilometres across. And as you can see there, about 9 kilometres deep. Well, not deep. 9 kilometres across, from east to west. Okay, so quite a large kingdom in this area. And there is another kingdom in this area, but I won't go into that in this video. So there's 2 in the Megantoni National Sanctuary in Peru. And were they like twin kingdoms? I'm not sure, but I'm sure they would have known of each other because they're not too far apart. Okay, maybe a couple of days of walking. As you can see, this is the main city area, roughly 3 kilometres long, which I assume would have been made up of terraces and buildings. Here is the llama statue on the way up to the cave. As you can see, this is a more zoomed in shot of it. So 2 legs at the front. Obviously the llama's facing this way. So the 2 legs are close together. Hind legs are obviously further apart, and they're straddling something. I'm not sure exactly what it's standing on, but it appears to be standing on something. Okay. Now this is that other carving that I mentioned at the entrance, going up to the cave, where this stream runs down into this other one. It appears to be a carving of some sort of personal creature. Okay. And it does remind me of something else, and I'll show you that in a few more slides. There appears to be some type of golden statue that's very similar to this shape. I'll get to that shortly. And it's in the same area as well, not far from here, about 2 kilometres up the stream, heading towards the cave. Now this is an interesting little figure. I've showed you this before. Basically in the middle of the kingdom. It's hard to say if it's a freestanding statue or it's actually a carving into the rock. But again, it appears to be some type of person or creature. I don't know. I just sort of look very interesting. And again, requires further investigation. This could possibly be a Jesuit sculpture. I have seen these before in other areas. So it's quite a possibility, or it could be shadows and rocks. It's, again, very difficult to tell. Zoomed in. Is that a face? Again, needs further investigation. Now this is that figure that I just mentioned earlier. Appears to be yellow golden in colour. Now this is right near the entrance to the cave. And it does look like a similar shape to what I just showed you before. So could have that been indicating that this is the way up to this? Possibly. There it is zoomed in. Your guess is as good as mine as what it is. Is it a statue? Is it carved into that rock face? It's hard to know at this stage. Okay, this is the giant carving into the front wall near the entrance to Paititi. As you can see, it's got a diamond type shape outline, and there's some type of creature standing there. Okay, so this obviously might have been a way of intimidating people coming up here, to maybe scare them away. Okay, might have been a way of them saying, don't mess with us, come at your own peril. Okay, and if you can't see it, it's inside that box there. Like I said, they're difficult to see. A lot of these are covered in vegetation over hundreds of years. The vegetation will have to obviously be removed to reveal whatever these sculptures are. Now, here's an old painting of Francisco Pizarro. He was obviously the soldier in charge of the taking of Peru. Okay, but why I put this in here, because in the cave I can kind of make out some paintings on the cave walls, and there is one very similar to this. Now it's going to be very hard to make out. Took me quite a while to see it and try to work out what it was. If it's not Pizarro, it may be another Spanish soldier. Now, we do know Jesuits came here, and if Blas Valera came, he was an incredible artist, so he may have painted it. Okay, now this is very difficult to see. Now, this is actually looking inside the cave, on the cave wall. If you get it on the right angle, the right light, sometimes it appears easier to see than others. Now, just next to this, that's what I assume is Pizarro or a soldier. There is another figure here. It actually looks like it's riding a horse. Okay, so very difficult to see again, but there does appear to be a face there and a person, maybe with a shield. Okay, riding some sort of animal, which I assume, if it's a Spaniard, would be a horse. And I've just circled those if people are finding it difficult to see, because that is quite difficult to see. Okay, so that's just what I can see. Whether they're really there or not remains to be seen. Now, this is another interesting one. This is also inside the cave wall. I only just saw this once, and I quickly took this screenshot. And I haven't been able to locate it since. But I do know it's on the cave wall. If you do squint slightly, you can make out a face there with a headdress. It does look like an Inca type face. And in the background, you can see perfectly cut stones, all right, in a nice stone wall, which would indicate this is a very important area. Obviously set aside for royalty, and quite an impressive carving there too into the wall. And there's the cave that I was just talking about. Okay, and the puma geoglyph that sits above it. Again, difficult to see because of the growth of vegetation, but you can see the faint outline. And we won't have to spend too much time on this, but that's my drawing of what I think is the puma sitting there on top of the cave. Now, this one's very hard to make out. Is this a geoglyph, or is it the shape of the buildings? Again, a very triangular shape. Which tends to make me think that it's a condor type shape. Okay, that would be its head and face in this area. Okay, coming down, straight line here. And this is on top of the mountain where the city is. Actually, this is the eye, whatever this structure is here, of the Imagery that I showed you before coming across. It's another straight line along here, and then a straight line comes up the side as well. Something like that. Again, it's hard to see, but if things were easy to see, this thing would have been discovered many years ago. Okay. Okay, the first geoglyph that I saw on the site, the Inca warrior, king, or farmer. It's hard to make out. Little llama. Okay, he could be carrying a spear. But yeah, as soon as I saw that, that reminded me of the Andres Lopez map of Paititi and drew me to start looking in this area for more things. Condor geoglyph, you can see the round face here. Wings spread out on either side. Again, situated right near the Inca geoglyph. This is one of my favourite shots of Paititi. Supai, or the devil, in these parts. Walking back to the underworld. Very clever. Now this is interesting. At the cave entrance appears to be what looks like a face. I have no doubt these that represent the eyes here are probably some sort of buildings or rock walls. Okay, right next to the opening of this cave. And I've showed you this before. That was that little type of golden statue looking thing. Alright, so that's right near the beginning of the cave too. And there's something interesting up here which I can't quite make out as well. This even looks like a face here as well. Just some more interesting features of this site. Okay, there's the face of the geoglyph. Is it Supai? Is it Inti, the sun god? I don't know. It's difficult to see. It's in this area. Appears to be looking from the right over to the left. Okay, it looks like there's even a smaller face there. Okay, so this is what I showed you before. Blesvillera painting from the Andes side, looking back towards the Amazon. Okay, to the east. Now, I've even been thinking about this more as I've been recording these videos. I did show you what I thought was this trail going across here that maybe had a hanging rope bridge, went down the other side. Now, I do recall hearing that there was 2 fortresses on Paititi. So these 2 circles here could quite easily indicate the 2 fortresses which are on either end of the site. This end being the Temple of the Sun end, and this being the Temple of the Moon. So it's quite possibly that's what that's referring to. And there could be some type of trail that goes all the way following along this river, parallel to it roughly. That takes us up to the front of the site. And there's a good chance that this cave here, at the front of the site, could easily be this cave here that I originally shown. Okay, because there does appear to be 2 figures in there. So that could easily be the this trail could even be the entrance to the site going up the ramp. Okay, so it's obviously near to that. This is obviously not to scale, because from one end of the mountain here to the other is about 12 kilometres long. And obviously this section here is a lot closer to this side. Okay, it's only a couple of kilometres away from there, whereas it's about 10 kilometres away from here. This was apparently the old Paititi symbol. I'm not sure where that's come from. I've tried to research that, but I haven't had any luck trying to find out some more information about that. just seen that. Now this is the Blas Valera painting from the Amazon side, looking back towards the Andes. And I'll try to find roughly where I think this was taken from, where he painted it from. Okay, so I think he was roughly in this area here. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main type peaks. And as you can see, there's probably 4 or 5 here as well. Okay, one of the highest ones being where this condor geoglyph is, and that's actually where it is. Okay, sitting on top of that mountain. Without my graphics, you can see it there. Okay, the satellite imagery exaggerates the peak. They're not really that high and standing above the rest, but they're actually higher than most of the others. So that's where I think he took that, or drew the painting from. Or painted the painting, should I say. So he was roughly in this area. Okay, all these geoglyphs could easily be these little areas that you can see that have regrowth. There may have been many geoglyphs here at some stage. And obviously over the centuries, they've been grown over, which makes them very difficult to see now. So as you can see, it's an incredible site, surrounded on 2 sides by the Rio Timpia. Okay, a pretty major river in these parts. It obviously flows from here downhill to the north, where then it curves around this mountain plateau. Okay, and then it heads down towards the Rubemba River. Alright, so just to finish off this video part, we go back here to the entrance, and like I said, a lot of people won't believe me, but I believe this is a large carving into this mountain face of Inkari, or whoever was the current leader or king or emperor of this kingdom. Okay, was it a representative of himself or somebody else? I'm not sure. But it looks something like this. Okay, so it appears to be some sort of person or creature. Tongue, belly, hand, feet, wearing some sort of crown or headdress. Carved into the edge of this mountain, so they're lying down. Okay, that would have been an incredible sight as you're coming across this valley. Seeing how majestic this site is and what they're capable of. Until next time, bye for now.